Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to do a little bit of work on the Jeep. Kind of follow over here and you can see this list my kids helped me out with. Things we need to get done on the Jeep. Today we're going to tackle this project right here. Follow along as we start building the rear seat for the Jeep. Alright, so today I got my kids helping me out. They're going to be doing a little bit of videoing, a little bit of learning as we go along here. But here's what we're working with, okay? This is the remnants of a seat out of like a Jeep JK or some later model Wrangler. Okay? So, the bottom half has been deconstructed. That's the cushion, the nasty cover. And then here is what we're going to be working on today. This is, if you can picture it, this is the rear bottom seat frame. And what my problem is that it doesn't fit between the wheel wells because of these mounts right here. So we're going to come in here, we're going to remove those parts. We're going to trim this thing down to fit exactly in the rear wheel wells of the old Jeep. And then we're going to go ahead and modify it so that it still is capable of folding down and flipping forward, like it was in the original Jeep that came in. So, follow along, bear with me. I got my two youngest helping out today, and we will get this project going. Alright, so here's what we're working with on the old Jeep today. Okay, the frame for the rear seat does not fit between the wheel wells there. And if you look up here, here's why. Here's why. Okay, so these things hit. My thought is that I can trim those off, and then I can trim this end piece down right here. I can trim those off and trim this down, and what I'm going to end up doing is modifying a bracket and building a little bracket so that you can still put the seat in, bolt it down in just the front, and then fold it forward because it sits on these little pedestals up here in the back. There you go. Yep. So what we'll do is we'll go in the garage here and chop those pieces off. Cut it down, kind of design a bracket, a little bit of an L bracket with a hinge in the middle, and then we'll come back out here and do some fitting. Alright, let's get on it. Alright guys, here's the plan. You can kind of see how we made this bracket. This is upside down, but this will be part of a hinge, or I'll just have another bracket that comes out and bounces to the floor. Put a bolt through there or a pin, done. And then it'll hinge on it and everything and swing forward just like it would in a late model Jeep. But that's it for tonight. We ran out of time. We'll come back tomorrow and finish this thing up. Alright guys, I'm back on this project. I've got to finish this thing up today so I can put this seat in the Jeep and we can go out and cruise and enjoy it. I left off last night after just mounting these little brackets. Now I need to build their friend that mounts to it, that hinges on it. This is upside down. And the bracket that'll mount in the Jeep. It'll make more sense in a minute here. But it's just me out here today. My kids all bailed on me. Man, my son is over at his friend's house riding his little four-wheeler, little 50cc, and his buddy has a little 50cc dirt bike. I'm a nervous wreck. I don't know, man. My son, he's ridden his four-wheeler all around the yard here a bunch. This is the first time we've let him go without my supervision. Obviously the other boys' dads there with them. But anyway, to my mom and dad, whew, thank you guys for letting us do that stuff all the time. That was crazy. I don't know how you did it. Man, maybe explain some of the gray hairs, I guess. All right, let's get this Jeep seat done so I can throw my kids in it and we can go out and enjoy it. I'm gonna start doing a little measuring, mocking up, and start on my brackets that bolt into the Jeep, and then we'll go from there. Alright, so I got my two brackets made. You guys saw how I did that. I just put the old heat to it, threw it in the vise, bent it over. Another way a guy could have done that is taking my piece of flat metal and just taking my zip saw, you know, or the grinder, and ground a big gouge in it, and then it'll fold up real nice, and then you just come in and you put a stitch weld, you know, right in the base of it there to keep it. But this also worked. I thought I might be able to bend it without heating up, but the words of my high school welding teacher echoed in my mind when he said, you can go to hell for beating on cold steel. So while I don't agree exactly with his doctrine, his point, it was clear, and I get it. So I put some heat on it, bent it over, worked. Both my brackets, my holes are offset towards the front on the top, and it'll make sense in a little bit because that's where it needs to be for that bracket to clear. But I went ahead and dumped out my entire bucket of bolts so that I can go now find something like this. If I can find this one's partner, that'd be awesome. Because I need a lock nut. I want to be able to put something through there with a nylock nut on it so that I don't have to sit there and have it the nut coming off. So I'm going to dig through, try to find, maybe, try to find something that'll work. And then we'll go over there to the Jeep and we'll mock this thing up and throw it in there. Alright guys. Here's where we're at with our fabrication. Just like that. You can see how the feet now work and how the seat's going to look. Obviously it's just the skeleton. I have all the foam out to trim a little bit because it's a little bit too wide. So I have to trim that down and cleaning it up a little bit. But that's about how I want it to sit. Especially so that a guy can come in here and, oh, it's going to be hard to do this one-handed. There we go. Okay, that leans over. Doesn't fold that far. Obviously the cushioning keeps it about right there. And then in theory I want this thing to be able to stand up kind of like that, except it'll be on those stands. So I'll just have to do a little measuring to figure out how far forward I can get. You know, in case I don't have kids loaded up in here with me, I could flip that forward and, you know, put my snacks and stuff in there. So I'm gonna do a little measuring, drill some holes, put my brackets in. Yeah, and then we'll go from there. Alright guys, well, I got my holes marked there and there, and I crawled under the Jeep and measured and everything and figured out I wouldn't hit the frame. You know, gas tank's right there, but you know, all that stuff a guy's supposed to do before we start just drilling holes through the body. You know, the last thing I want to do is punch a hole and realize the frame's right under there and I can't do anything about it. So just going to punch it through there. And the way this is going to work, my seat belts are going to tie in not to the seat. So like my seat doesn't have to be, you know, anchored down with a 12-ton anchor or anything, because it's really the seat belts are going to hold kids in. So those I'll put in there, and I probably won't be able to hit anything solid other than the floor with those. So I'll just put a big washer behind them when I go to put those in. Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm going to drill these holes, which I hate to do, because I mean, look at this thing. It is, I mean, it's unmolested, man. Not a lot of holes drilled everywhere. So, oh well, I got to do it to put this seat in. So I'm going to knock those holes in, put some bolts in those brackets, clamp it down, and we'll give this thing a little test fit, and then I got to go to trimming some foam. We'll be back. All right, I threw the seat padding in, obviously, and you can see why I think I have to trim stuff. It sits out here pretty wide on the top. Down here, it fits down in there pretty good. I might just leave that alone. My only question is if I do this and go to fold it over and flip it up, I guess it'll work. Well, I'll be dipped. I'm not gonna trim any of that foam. I think it'll work. And after a few years, it'll make itself fit. Do the old self-clearance. Nice. All right, well, I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna struggle the way the seat covers back on. We had it apart to wash them. Hopefully they're dry. I'm gonna flip them around, struggle them on, and then we'll see if this thing will mount up like I hoped it would in my dreams. Alrighty, guys. I think I'm sweating because I struggled putting these cushion covers back on, seat covers back on it, but there we have it. It's a little, seems a little scrunched because it is. That's all right. It actually fits back there nice, and it's nice. 2 kids will ride in there just right. And I didn't want it to be too far back so that if I did get a soft top, which I plan to eventually, it'll fit. I didn't want to be too far forward so that, you know, somebody's knees are jammed in there. And let's see if I can do this. There we go. There we go. If it's just me and I'm throwing some junk in here, I can do that. Or I can go in there and I can undo 2 bolts and pull the whole thing out of there. So that's pretty slick, man. Worked pretty good. All right. I'm gonna wrap this up. I have 2 shout outs to give first. If you guys aren't watching Vice Grip Garage, you got to go check it out. That's where I stole one of his catchphrases from today. I didn't even mean to. I watch it enough, it becomes part of my habit. But that's pretty good stuff. Also, another one, Wayne's Work Vlog. And I'll put a link up there at the end with something you click on and go watch his videos. Pretty good stuff. It's a guy that actually gave me a pretty good deal on that seat from the old Facebook Marketplace. And he's got his own channel doing a bunch of 4-wheeling around here in Colorado and some other stuff. Real nice guy. And they do some really cool rides. They just did a bunch of all the big passes out in western Colorado. So, all right, man, there you go. That's it on the Jeep. Who knows what we'll do next? To find out, though, make sure you hit subscribe, follow along, share with somebody. I appreciate the community we're building. Thanks. Oh, and in case anybody was wondering, my son made it back from the 4-wheeler ride, had a blast. It was awesome. And for everybody that's concerned, yes, I do have seat belts. I'm going to get the right bolts and I'm going to put those things in too. Okay, that's it for real this time. See ya.